Roll call, please.
Brian Card,
Here.
present via online. Norman Farren.
Mic's not on. Yours isn't on, but do you have a microphone on your computer?
It's not on.
Present.
Okay. Michael Huco,
Here.
John Sarantopoulos. Keith, Lorraine Lagarde. Here. And Keith Thurlow.
Yes, ma'am, here. No seating alternates? Oh, yeah. No, we got a full board tonight, right? 1, 2, 3. And Brian's online, so, yeah, all set. Any addendums?
No.
Anybody for citizens' comments? And I see nobody in the audience.
No one in the audience, no one on
Online?
WebEx.
Public hearings?
No
None.
public hearings.
Unfinished business. New business, special permit application 25-1356, KPC Killingly Owner, LLC, Ladle, I'll say, Incorporated, landowner. 53 and 35 Adderwagon Crossing Road, GIS map 63, lot 22, 4.1 acres. GIS map 63, lot 21, 6.9 acres, general commercial zone to construct a 5,400 square foot 7-Eleven convenience store with fueling for passenger and commercial vehicles. Receive and schedule a public hearing for October 20th, 2025. Can I have a motion for that, please?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't even turn it on yet. Somebody else should make a motion.
Go ahead, Mike, make a motion.
Make a motion. I'll second it.
So, Mike Huco makes the motion. John Sarantopoulos seconds it. Any further discussion? Anne Marie, anything you want to add at this point?
No, I just wanted to let everybody know that you have a one-sheet site plan for the general, so I didn't know if you had any questions on it for tonight, for me tonight. But other than that, we'll be ready.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions?
Aye.
No opposing or abstentions. Unanimous. Okay, adoption of minutes, regular meeting, August 5th, 18th. Have a motion, please?
I'll make,
the motion.
Don makes the motions.
I'll second.
Norm seconds it. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm mad. I read the notes. I wasn't here. Can I still make the motion?
You can, but why don't we just have somebody else that can clear?
All right.
Well, then that motion has to, the second has to be withdrawn, and the motion has to be withdrawn, and then it has to be remade. Norm, do you withdraw your second?
Yes.
I withdraw.
And
Okay.
John withdraws his motion.
Somebody else to make.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as,
Second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mike, seconded by John, by Norm. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Sir?
I read the notes, and I don't see where there was any discussion when the meeting started on the original motion that was put before the voters at the old high school. That meeting was adjourned, or no, it was at the new high school, rather. Meeting was adjourned, and public comment was stopped. We should have had public or discussion before Brian Codd's motion, which turned out to be an amendment to the original motion.
Hold on, let me just verify what you're trying to do here. Facebook Live. Then the motion was made to approve. Well, what happened is when you were at the high school, the public portion of the hearing was closed. And what was continued, or actually tabled until August 18th, was the motion and the discussion period.
But normally, we have discussion among the planning and zoning members after public comment
Well, that motion has to be made in order to have the discussion done. So the discussion gets made first, and that's what opens the floor the motion gets made first, and that's what opens the floor for discussion.
I thought it just missed an opportunity to go around the table and find out what people thought of that public hearing, which was contentious, to say the least, and out of control. But I just thought that it should have been there.
Well, there is discussion after that. If you read on page 3, the motion was made, and then there was a second, and then there's discussion that follows it
That was
there.
on the motion,
Right.
but not on the original motion that was put before the voters for public discussion. And they came in with what they thought they wanted, which prompted Brian's amendment. But it seems to me that we should have had discussion as a commission on what to do with the original motion. And then we should have had amendments, or we could have even voted on the original one and voted it down, I guess. But, Brian chose to make an amendment, but I thought that there was a step that was missing where we should have, and I'm saying that because later on in the meeting, I'm gonna mention something that I filed here, and I
Well-
thought they should have been circulated.
The thing was, in order to open the discussion, there has to be a motion made, which is what Brian did, and it was seconded by Michael. Then the discussion ensued, and that's where people did say, like Keith did say, that the public made it clear they want PRD to be eliminated from rural development. And they all went through, like there's a,
But you
Mention
had
here
no,
from Keith.
you had no discussion on the original motion,
that is
Which-
the original motion.
which opened up the public hearing part.
I-
A motion was made on the motion that was put forth before the public hearing. There was 2 sessions
We
on the
don't-
public hearing.
When you
No.
open a public hearing, you don't make a motion to open a public hearing. The public hearing is commenced by us, by
Right.
me initiating it, and then it's open for discussion. And then usually, in a public hearing situation, whoever's the applicant will make presentation, and then we'll have discussion. And I try to go back and forth between the public, us, staff, and I do that, cycle it usually two or three times, so let everybody have a opportunity to speak. But at that point, you're not having a motion. So then, the only motion is to close the public hearing. So when you have a motion to close the public hearing, then you can discuss it as far as a big motion. And then you come back on the new unfinished business, have a motion is made to.
And that's the
and that's
part
when
that I'm claiming is missing.
No.
We should have had discussion prior to a motion being made.
You always have
No.
to have a motion on the floor, so you can have discussion.
Yeah, but don't we generally have discussion on comments made during the public hearing.
I do
Yeah.
usually open up
Yeah.
between this,
That's what I thought was missing.
but it's common, and it's not closed to just us. That conversation includes the public, their opportunity, because they always keep coming back up if it's some contentious thing.
I thought that was a separate
No, that's
discussion that
all,
takes place among
it's all
us.
the same, and then we have our discussion.
Okay.
I try to throw it out to
Mhm.
staff, the public, and to us. And that way, everybody gets an opportunity, and then people get an opportunity to respond to somebody's
Okay.
comment.
And there was, and I do remember Michael did ask more than once if there were any more public comments to be made. Nobody got up, and then he entertained a motion to close the public hearing. And
Which
then
was
what they
made
did
At the high school.
at the high school. So the public hearing was closed at the high school.
Yeah.
And then a motion was made to table the discussion until the following month in August, because they wanted to make sure that all board members were there for the discussion.
Right.
And during this month of August, those of you who were not there even stated on the record that they had watched the public hearing on Facebook.
Right.
And that's on part of our minutes as well. So all of the motions that needed to be made were made, and the discussions that needed to be followed were followed.
It might have been a little confusing, John, because it was split up like that.
you know,
And, you know, because usually it's done all sequential at a regular
I
meeting.
just thought that there was something missing, and I thought that that's generally how we did it. That's why I'm bringing it up,
Yeah.
okay? So
All right.
I'll reserve the rest of it to
On
when
the-
you've mentioned, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. All right, okay, where are we? Would
the
we
motion
ap-
was made, there's discussion on the minutes.
Okay,
Vote.
any other discussion on the minutes? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed or
Aye.
oppositions? None.
Okay.
You got that, Joanne, everybody? Unanimous. Okay, under other, any,
Okay. Is this it?
John wants to
Yeah, okay,
say
thank you.
something.
All right. On the morning of, what was it, the 18th of August?
The last meeting?
The last yeah. I came in and I saw Jonathan and Marie, and I gave them this, which was my thoughts on what took place at those public hearings. And at that time, Anne Marie told me that the attorney said not to distribute it to the council members. And I'm gonna tell you, nobody likes to be discounted, especially if you're a member of the commission itself. I read the notes on what took place at the meeting, the motion, the amendment, et cetera. Mine differed slightly from that, and it went into more detail about what I thought. First of all, I stated that there was a planned residential development already in planning and zoning, which probably a lot of people, either they knew it or they didn't recognize it. I referred to the fact that with the existing regulations, public sewer was mentioned in a couple of places, had to be provided. That was being eliminated with the new language, et cetera. I thought that one of the motivations for possibly wanting to change it was to meet public housing standards. Well, when I look at this planned residential development, and I have no objections to it being split in two, the way it is now, I thought that with the existing language where it had to be connected to public sewer, already met the standard, and whatever public housing that has to be available, it's available right through there. As long as there's a sewer line out there, people can do what they want. Where I disagreed with what the final thing was, I thought it still should apply to rural development, because we've extended lines out to brownfields as they exist today. And anywhere along those lines, I feel, and I still do, even though that's not the case and it's been approved, that they should be able to do the same thing. And I think of Colonial Drive on Maple Street. You know, here's a developer came in, there's a sewer line out there. If I remember correctly, the condition was that it become a town road and that he pay for the line to go out to Maple Street to hook up, and he can put in this development, and I forget what it was, 48 units, something.
No,
How many units was it that were going in there?
32?
32 units? And I thought that that should be available to wherever those lines are. The town paid for those trunk lines to go out there, and they went out there for specific reasons. One was the nursing care facility in Attawagan, Blueville Mill, South Killenly Mill. We've extended lines all the way out there, and to have those lines running alongside of property that could be utilized to develop this sort of development, which would keep us in compliance with public housing, I thought should have existed. And the last thing I wanted to mention, and to make it a part of the record, and it's been my feeling that even on this commission, nobody wants a public, or to say it for the record. I did some research, took a look at the authority.
Sewer authority?
Public Sewer Authority. And that was proposed by the state legislature, and it's a quasar operation. Town of Killenly and the authority which is appointed by the town council. The authority lies with them in as far as extending lines, with one caveat. If they wanted to extend lines and it involves town money, then the council certainly has a big hammer to swing in whether or not they go through it. But,
But doesn't the planning and zoning have a say in the extension of sewer lines?
no,
I think only in regards to like an 824, if it's a public improvement.
the planning document, and it escapes me right now what the name of it is, the plan of conversation.
Plan of
that was-
Conservation and Development?
It states in there that they're not to be extended. That's a recommendation.
Right.
But it doesn't have the authority to
No.
supersede the authority created by the town council, which is the
Town
public
council.
sewer.
Sewer.
And they have the discretion on need of whether to extend those lines or not. The council has oversight over it. And when, especially because of monetary, they can stop whatever they intend to do. But that's the structure. And along with other things that I've looked at, I think that it's in place. If there's a need for public housing and the state thinks you should put it in, let them, first of all, repair the facility so that it can take new customers on. Let them get some money up along with the town, and it's available. We've got trunk lines running all over the place. They can extend them if they want to in order to suit that need. And I see where moderate and congested areas have that authority now. I thought it should have been extended to rural as well, as long as those trunk lines are there. People should have that right with their property. Everyone has the right to do what they want with their property, providing that they meet the standards of planning and zoning. I thought that was one way where the whole thing makes sense, and it would satisfy those who came to the two public hearings and voiced their concerns unanimously. So my question is, why did Attorney Slater say that this thing shouldn't be distributed? I dropped it off with the intent of it being my voice, because I couldn't attend the meeting. I had an appointment up in Boston. So why wasn't it?
And I will have Attorney Slater address this next month as
Okay.
well. But from what I
That's what I'm
remember is he took that as more of, because you did additional research, he said that he looked at, if I remember correctly, that was more evidence, and once the public hearing is closed, evidence cannot be submitted. So that's kind of, and I'm,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I can
disagree
only-
with 100%.
well,
Yeah, okay,
that's
all
fine,
right.
then you,
But-
but I have to do what he,
Yeah, I would like to have him explain to me why, because I think one of the biggest thing is you want people on this commission and other commissions to have the confidence that they're going to be able to participate fully in whatever hearings they're going for. So that's my grievance, okay?
Can I add to, so in regards to the process for like WPCA, they definitely have control over like their facility, with the caveat of, the spending entity being the town council, right, overseeing the budget. But in particular, 824 reviews, one of the sections or 824's reviews speak to locating or extending public utilities. So prior to doing that action, that would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, this commission. But the only thing that happens, say if we vote no on it, or the commission votes no, it triggers a supermajority vote of the council. It doesn't stop the council from voting, and there's no penalty for them finding different than what P&Z has. P&Z would rely on the plan of conservation development because it's advisory and it's a document that we would reference to, but it is advisory. So you can,
That's
as
absolutely
time goes on, you could choose to say, well, it's been 8 years in the process of, since the POCD has been passed, things have changed, and look to, based off new evidence. But that's the process of 824. So certain things come before you guys under 824, and then go to the council. There's a lot of different things, like selling town land, extending roads, bridges, accepting new roads, all of that is supposed to come to you guys prior to town council action. But
And
it just
again-
is the difference between a majority vote and a super majority vote.
And and again, the 824 review is not an approval or denial, it's an opinion that you give to the town
There-
council, because the
and
town
there's-
council makes the final.
There's
There's
one
the
more thing.
possibility of the board failing to come to a decision as well, and it doesn't stop the council from moving forward after a particular time frame.
There's one more thing that I'd like to mention. Cluster developments. Even though it doesn't specifically state, and this is a review of the notes compiled when they created cluster development, the intent is there that public utilities be available for those developments too, rather than just taking one and sticking it in a rural area and having a massive in-place facility to treat sewage. Even though it doesn't specifically state that, the intent, it's been agreed, is there that it should be on public lines. And I think that those things are very important for us as a group to understand. That was why I put that together. That's what I wanted to voice at our meeting in order to influence whatever
Yeah, the cluster,
whatever was decided. And I'm quite pleased with what happened, other than the fact, as I said, I would have argued that it should have been in rural areas as well, as long as that line is there. And contractors, would they foot the bill to go a mile away from that line to connect that? That would be a hard decision for them to make. That would limit it in itself and serve the intent of what those who spoke against it.
Yeah. Well, just to let you know that sentence about all planned residential development shall be served by public sewer was added back in.
Yeah, I know
think
that.
that's what you wanted.
But it doesn't, the one that's excluded is the rural areas.
I'd just make a couple comments. One is, back in early 2000, the sewer authority was looking for extensions, places to extend the sewer line. And P&Z, we went to their hearings, that we were asked to go to their hearings and make comments or opinions about places that they were looking at, like the bottom of Breakneck Hill. They were looking at over where By-Right is, possibly bringing it up by By-Right or up Route 6
Yeah.
into that area.
Did they have a developer, or were they just asking to do?
No, they as an authority were looking for input,
Oh,
where they thought
Mhm.
they might do it, at least at that point. It was early
Mhm.
2000. So, yeah, we did. I know, Linda, I know, maybe not the whole commission, but I know Linda and I went and spoke at those things.
Mhm.
Um,
I think anyone would be hard pressed if there was a need, supposing, and I don't know a specific area, that failed, and they had to have lines extended. Who would be able to stop the planning and zoning from saying, okay, look, we're gonna go in there and correct what's wrong, and I guess they're the ones that decide who ponies up in as far as the expenses. I think the argument in a lot of the cases, in that case, when I was a liaison to the sewer authority, I remember, extension of main lines is absorbed by the ratepayers. And so they're held accountable to that. They can't just go ahead and do work and add costs to the ratepayers when it's not deemed necessary.
I mean, a big thing they were looking at was places like, at that point, off of Mashantuck Road, you go up in Orleans and Austin Acres.
Mhm.
There's a lot of wetlands, marginal area for septic systems. The bottom of Breakneck Hill, there was an issue there with some septic systems at the time, so they were looking at that. I mean, they were trying to justify, but obviously it didn't.
Yeah, Nossig Acres, for instance, would be an old cluster development. I think it
Right.
might have been called Flex at the time when it was passed, but it was an old, it's an old cluster.
That was very old, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very marginal lands up there when that was originally built. The other thing I was gonna say, John, is when you talk about, we took RD out. We took it out of RD, PRD. I mean, at the time, it was very strong opinions that we shouldn't have it in there at all. But the truth is, if somebody comes in and with an application and they re-argue the whole thing,
Yeah,
and they come up with a different scenario and say, in justification, then we as a commission have to listen to it and act on it. I mean, so.
that's one of the reasons why I thought it should be in there. Because, yes, at any time, somebody could acquire some property along one of those trunk lines out there and come in and say, look, you know, this is there, there's a need for this, and I don't know how,
Well, for instance, an example of that is Bailey Hill Road, the mill that burned. I mean, we approved, I think it's 144 units, if I remember right, that
Yeah.
go down that hill,
yeah,
and that sewer line would get tied in. I mean, if the mill was still there, I don't know what the situation of the approval is
It's
now.
still in effect.
So it could go down, that was designed to go across Whetstone Brook to Valley Road and get tied in down below as gravity. But the sewer line does go up Bailey Hill
yeah.
Road. So, you know, pick up that little village at the end.
My whole emphasis was on illustrating that this all presently existed, even before what was approved on the 18th. And that with water pollution control, with existing lines, this was still available for
For people that live along the line.
for people who live along the line in order to meet the standard of public housing. You know, right now, we meet the standard roughly, I understand.
We're below 10%.
We're below now? So, I mean, that's one of the arguments of why this should be expanded. Well, there's a provision already here, I was arguing, that is possible under our present regulations. And that's what I was trying to summarize. Okay, so if you would find out for me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on the other? Okay. Correspondence, zoning practice, anybody got questions? Department reports?
One thing, we're going to be canceling workshop meetings until Tuesday, January 20th.
Why is that?
Well, do you really want to, number one, there's nothing available, and number two, we're in the holiday season. And I remember last year when I had you come in early for the holiday season, nobody was happy with me.
Well, December, I mean, we still got October, early November.
Are they scheduled right now?
They had them scheduled till the end of it, there was no need for them at this point.
Well, I'm not keen on just eliminating them out right now, but I mean, that's fine during the holidays. Definitely don't want them before the holidays. You know, people are thinking other things, but on the same token, I'd like to see, you know, I don't want to just carte blanche say none till January. I mean, if something comes up, we want to have the opportunity to address it if
But
we
if
can.
there's no need,
Right,
don't
if
do
there's
it.
no need.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, department reports. Jonathan?
Yeah, I do have something quickly here for you. Hold on. The Aquifer Protection Agency met. They don't meet very often. That's our Inland Wetlands Commission. They did approve Killingly Asphalt Products, Colts Plastic Company, and L&W Supply Corporation, all under the Aquifer Protection Program, so they'll be good for another 5 years. They received the highway garages application, but have asked for additional information. The Wetlands Commission approved a free split lot off of 114 Bear Hill Road, a first cut lot, so that was approved, and they tabled action on a rebuild of a cottage at 86 Island Road until next month. The only other thing we had, I know we mentioned, was the NECOG has a housing seminar with Community Access Community Action Agency on September 27th at 9 a.m. It's going to be located at 376 Hartford Turnpike in Hampton, Connecticut. For anyone that is interested, I believe it does count towards some commission training, although I think we're relatively caught up on that.
I think we're caught up on the training, but again, this is, to John's point, part of it with the affordable housing and whatnot. But it is a Saturday morning, but if anybody who wants to go, just let us know and we can sign you up. It's a week from Saturday.
Where is it held?
It's in Hampton.
Okay, economic development is not here.
She's out right now. The one last item that I do have is that the Vision Committee is having a community meeting. I gave you a flyer for it. So. And
Yeah,
that's going
it's
to be.
always good to go participate. Yeah, and then the Blueville Mill, I don't know if anybody's seen that, but they've got that fairly cleaned up.
I believe they'll be moving off-site this week.
Yeah, there's all the machines, there's one small machine there, so.
Yep.
Town council liaison?
I was not at the town council meeting because I was at the union negotiations for the teachers. And I did try to listen to the meeting. I had the volume all the way up and I couldn't hear a thing.
I know we've been working hopefully to get IT in to change out the board. I'm told we have all new equipment, but it's just a matter of scheduling. So I'd refer to Brian. Yeah, we did notice a weird nuance. If you're listening on an Android phone versus like a newer Apple phone, the girl who has been doing the booth has a new Apple phone, and she can hear it perfectly on there. And I don't know if it's a weird thing with Facebook, like with like boosting the audio or not, but I myself, listening at home, had to have headphones on full blast and try to find a corner with no kids to be able to hear barely. But I use subtitles to follow along.
That's what I do. I put on the subtitles and just read it. Because I can't hear it on my MacBook.
Anything else? Okay, motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion
Second.
made, seconded? You can't.
Second.
Mike, seconds. John Sarantopoulos, motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? It's done. Thank you all.